Hello, my beautiful startup entrepreneurs. I'm here with Stephanie Bellinger today. She's the creator of Spiritual Boss Babe, and I love her online community on Facebook. It is amazing. They're always active and asking each other questions and being there for each other. And she's also a spiritual mindset and success coach for heart-centered entrepreneur women. I had to have her on here today because she's all about creating a life and business that sets their soul on fire. So I'm here to talk about turning your gifts into gold and amplify your message with Stephanie Bellinger. I always mess up your last name.
It's fine.
Bellinger. So Stephanie, I gotta ask you first, how did you start your business with Spiritual Boss Babe?
This is probably going to be a long answer, but first off, thank you so much for having me and for, inviting me to be part of this. I'm super excited to share with everyone and with your audience. My business started really as like divine inspiration, I guess you can say. But I was going through a transitional period. I used to do personal training and health and fitness coaching online. And I was going through this period where I felt like a complete failure. Everything kind of seemed to crumble beneath me. And I was also feeling drawn to helping people more with their mindset and growing their business and stuff. And so I was kind of at a rock bottom-ish moment. And I just had this pull to start helping people in a bigger way. I already was helping people, for a while I was, sharing my message and stuff like that. But I finally decided to create a community and to like officially start my coaching business. At that time, it was about 2 years ago. And I say that I started at the time, but I really didn't actually go all in for the first 6 months. I feel like it was a lot of adding value, and I was kind of scared to sell my offers and to, who am I to do this? So I had a lot of stuff to still work through, even though I was like sharing a lot of value, sharing my message. And then it just grew into something a lot bigger than myself. But I just really had to listen to that first step and then trust that the next steps would come to me. And they did.
That's beautiful. Did you ever feel like you got stuck along the way from like changing from health to spiritual and feeling like what's happening, nothing's happening for you and trying to move forward from that?
Yeah. So, oh my God, I felt stuck so many times. But during that period, it was really hard for me because I already had built up my following around fitness. I mean, it wasn't huge or anything like that, but I built up my audience and was like, oh, fitness, fitness, fitness. And so for the change, the transition, to me, it felt like a huge deal, but I'm sure to like everyone else, it was like really not that big of a deal. And it was hard for me to let go of that because it was a huge part of like my identity, like who I am. I'm so into fitness, blah, blah, blah. And so it felt like it was challenging to let that go because I do love that, it was like a huge part of my life. And it always will be. So it was challenging at that point because I felt like, oh, I want to help people live out their purpose, but I don't feel like I'm living out my purpose right now. Because I just experienced this failure. I feel like I'm switching directions. And I felt like I didn't even know what the hell I was doing yet. So I was like, well, how am I going to help other people live out their purpose and do all this shit if I feel confused? So there was like that rough patch. And like, I think that's, I guess, why for the first like 6 months or so, I was really just like sharing my journey, sharing my lessons, helping people. And then like kind of finding my voice at that time, because I was still like really nervous to go on video, to share my message, even though I was already kind of doing that in the fitness realm. I wasn't really like doing speaking videos as much. I was doing like workout videos. And like I had to build up the confidence and find my voice for like a little bit, and then it just started getting more clear. And even then, like even I've shifted in the last like year alone, or 6 months alone, because things became even more clear, right? Like I was in the beginning creating so many different offers, so many different this, that, they were all like aligned in a way. But like as I went on, things just started becoming more clear. Oh, okay, like that's why I was called to do this. this is how it's really going to look now that I've grown and I can see like what it's all really about.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. I think it's important to mention here that you had this divine download, and even you didn't know what really to do with it, you still moved forward. And like, I think it's so important for everyone to know that it's okay if you're messy along the way. You need to be part of the journey. You don't have to be perfect. And that's something that a lot of women fear, right? They're like, how do I start my business correctly or the right way? The idea is to just start, right? And you're going to be messy. You may get stuck along the way, but through time you will get unstuck. Especially, I know that you also work with Lorna Lees and Catherine, and you work with such amazing other female entrepreneurs. You spread community that way. And that's the best part about creating this little community of not just starting your business, but also creating a community of other women surrounding you and holding each other along the way. So amazing. So I want to know, how did you stand out from everyone else around your industry? Because there's a lot of people that are out talking about female entrepreneurship and spirituality in general.
Yeah, you know, this is the best advice I could give, is to stop freaking looking at other people's shit. You know, so and don't get me wrong, I've totally been there. But in the beginning, like, I feel like I just had so much drive and motivation, and I knew that like I had a lot to share, and I kind of viewed it as my art. Like, my message is my art, and I'm gonna fucking share this. Like, I'm sorry, I don't know if I'm allowed to curse on here.
Go ahead. I'm wearing a Tony Robbins shirt. Tony Robbins all the time.
I'm gonna share it loud and proud. Like, you know, no one has my story. No one is me. No one could do what I do in the way that I do it. And so like, I just was basically shouting off the top of rooftops, even though I say I was nervous and stuff. Like, I just knew that I had a lot to share. And so for the first while, for like a good year, I was really building myself up, like, just showing up in a lot of different places online. On my social media, in other Facebook groups, and just like collaborating with people. And I, you know, just always would ask myself this one thing: how can I be different? How can I be different? Everyone sounds the freaking same. I think a lot of people sound the same. You know, they're trying to grow their business. They're trying to create these crafty posts, and then they end up sounding like robots, or all sharing the similar things, and not like really, you can't really see who they are. So I just would ask myself, like, well, how can I be different? How can I show people who I am through my writing or through my videos or through whatever I share? Because that's what's really going to attract them to me, and that's what's going to make me stand out, being me. Like, who am I? I'm not a freaking robot. And so that really helped me stand out. And aside from that, I think it's important to point out the energy behind it, because like, my energy and intention was that I would grow a community of tens of thousands of people. I just knew. I didn't know like how long it would take or what I needed to do, but like, I worked from already being there. And that's what I teach my clients too, with money manifesting, with business. Like, you have to work from already being there back to now, not from here. Oh, how do I get there? You know, like, always work from there back to now. So same thing I did with my fitness. When I lost 60 pounds, I worked from already being there back to, you know, where I was at that moment. So I just continue to show up as if I already had a huge community, and I'm still growing. Like, this is like nothing, you know, like, I still feel like this is, you know, just the beginning. And it is. And so I just stayed in that energy of like, how can I be of service to my people? What do they need? What do I love sharing? How can I show them more of who I am and what I'm all about? But then I did go through phases of comparing myself to other people. And I think that it's really important to point this out, because so many of us do it. It's like freaking, you know, it happens. But when you do that, you're literally watering down your message, and you're going to feel like shit. And you're operating in making things about you instead of making things about your community and the people that you're serving.
That's beautiful.
And it's when you stay in the energy of, it's not about me, it's about them, that's when you'll create the abundance, and that's when things will blow up.
It's beautiful. Thank you for that. Wow. I feel motivated. I feel like I should like write a Facebook post right now. Like, I'm going to cry it out. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So I feel like you answered the question, but I just want to be super clear on the topic here is amplifying your message. So what is amplifying your message, and what's the best trick or tip for that?
Well, really, amplifying your message, I feel comes from like knowing who you are,
Wow.
like really knowing who you are and what you stand for, and um, just being in the energy of fully believing in yourself, having that confidence and that certainty in everything that you're doing, everything that you're sharing, everything that you're creating, everything that you're offering. That's going to amplify your message because people respond from your energy. They respond to your energy and your emotions. So if you're like super excited and you're in that like I don't give a fuck mentality, like I don't, like, and when I say that, I mean you don't care what other people think. If you're like in the energy of like, think about it, like if you're like dancing like no one's watching, you don't give a shit. You're just going crazy, dancing, having a good time, you know, whatever. You don't care about anyone else, like anyone else's opinion, whatever. If you showed up like that in your business and you were just like, you know, so freaking excited, you were detached from the outcome, you don't need to get clients, you know that you're a magnet to clients because you're showing up in the energy of not giving a shit and just sharing your magic, then that's when things happen. Like if you just don't care because you expect, you know, you're declaring it, you're deciding, and to show up in the energy of how can I be of highest service? What I have to offer is really valuable. The things I went through in my life have taught me so many lessons that are meant to be shared with the people that I'm meant to help. There's people out there who are literally waiting for me to show up because I believe we have soulmate clients, souls that we're meant to serve, that, you know, are meant to work with us. And if we're not doing our job in showing up in that power to serve with love and from the place of knowing that we're going to be supported, not from the place of I need to get clients, lack, oh my God, how am I going to grow my business? Then the magic happens. But so many people get it backwards because humans like to make things harder. And we're like, oh, what am I doing wrong? Oh, so-and-so's so much further ahead. Oh, I'm not making $10,000 months yet. No, like you have to stay in the present moment vortex of, you know, what am I creating? What am I sharing? What is my purpose? And how can I like really allow myself to channel through what wants to be channeled through so that I don't need to do anything. I just need to be this being who's doing the aligned actions that stands out, and your content will start traveling and impacting more people because people will share it, more people will reach out to you to be on their interviews, on their podcast, whatever, and then your content ends up just traveling because you're in the energy of, you know, just being this being who's sharing this message, creating this powerful impact for people, and you know, you're not getting all hung up on the details. So hopefully that answered your question.
No, that's
But
beautiful. Thank you.
yeah.
And you mentioned a lot of things, like you kind of mentioned the soulmate client, right? Getting your ideal client sent to you, and that you got referrals and you got these interviews. But how did, before you started getting these interviews and having people like moi call you and be like, do an interview with me, how did you start getting your clients? Because you have 25,000 plus people in your spiritual boss.
Almost 30,000.
And those are like hashtag goals over here.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I started getting interviews like pretty soon. Like it wasn't like it took that long. Again, like, and I know this sounds woo, but it's true that like I literally, it was just the energy of it. So like I said, I was putting myself out there for a long time. But I didn't have a Facebook group of 30,000 people for a long time. So not this past September, but the September before, I had 1,000 people.
Wow.
So a year and a half ago, I literally only had like 1,000 people or something like that. 1,000, 2,000. It was really low. It literally grew in a year. So what I was doing, so it didn't really take that long for me to start getting interviews, but what I did to start to stand out, like I literally chose, and I chose like maybe 3 groups that I really loved, like that I really loved to interact in. And I literally would just share like my stories or my journey. I wasn't going in there to preach or to promote. I probably did, a few times or whatever, but like when it was allowed and stuff, but I wasn't really going in there for that. I was like thinking in my head, like, how can I connect with more people? How
Mm.
can I make more connections? That's really just what I would think, So I would share really empowering, motivating stuff, but I would also share my story in it. So I'm not like, just this person preaching. I'm like, this is like what I'm going through right now. I talk a lot about what I'm going through right now. What really helped me like enhance my intuition, what really helped me with manifesting. And like I would just share like powerful stuff and connect and whatever. And then people would look at my page and then they would, see that I had a group.
Mm-hmm.
But even before I started my group, I was kind of doing stuff like that. So um, the answer to your question is just consistency is really the answer. Consistency.
Mm.
Not enough people are consistent. They're like, oh, I I posted about my challenge that I'm doing like twice. I'm like, I post about when I do shit like that, like I share about it like every freaking day for like 2 weeks. But in general, like I feel like not many people are consistent enough. But it's more than just being consistent. It's consistency and being effective. So like you can be consistent and post 3 times a day on all your social platforms, but if you're not effective, if you're not being the being who's doing the posting,
Mm.
and you're doing it from that place of, oh, I got to post today, so I'm going to post,
Yeah.
or like, oh, let me see if I can, hopefully get some clients, it's not going to be as effective. So you need to be consistent and effective. And effective, I mean, creating powerful content that inspires people into action. And the easiest way to do that is through stories
Mm.
and connecting to people's emotions, because you want to speak to their subconscious.
Yep. So you got from 1,000 people, you said a year and a half ago, to over
Yeah.
25,000, close to 30,000 now. And
Yeah, we're at like 29,500 or
oh
something.
my
But then
God.
I have my podcast and my Instagram that really help too. Not everyone's all in the group.
Got it. Got it. And then you ended up doing that by making up, well, not making up, but sharing your story, getting vulnerable, and not only doing it in your own Facebook group, but also in other people's Facebook groups, and not really just being yourself and putting yourself out there. That was the main
Yeah.
piece for you?
I would start conversations a lot. I would ask people questions and like literally just start a conversation a lot just for connection, and sometimes I would ask for advice, like in a friendly, like a, hey, like this, what's helped you with this? And people love, answering questions, joining a conversation, giving advice. And so, yeah, like I just was consistently showing up. But once I started my group, I started going on live in there a lot, and
Mm.
that really helped. And then I started talking about my group like it was the best shit in the freaking world, even when it was at 1,000 members,
Mm-hmm.
And because I did that, I honestly feel like, other people really just started like loving it and engaging more, telling their friends about it and whatever. But literally the first year, it was a lot of just me. I felt like it was hard to get people to engage. And I wasn't letting that get me down, though. Instead of saying, oh, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with my group? What's wrong with my content? I started asking better questions. How can I be more effective? What can I do differently to encourage people to engage? How can I get them to start talking to each other?
Perfect. And I know now when I look at your group, it's like every day, like 10 plus people start asking questions to you and to other people in the group. So your group
Yeah.
is like booming, definitely.
Yeah. It's really highly engaged. It's really awesome.
It's amazing. And I don't know how you keep up with that, by the way.
Well, I have other people who help me manage it.
Got
I
it.
don't manage it. I don't do any of that. And then I don't like scroll in my group either.
Hmm.
I literally go on to give value and pop off.
Hmm.
I do always like comment my own posts, obviously, when people engage. And sometimes once I do that, like if I see a couple posts, like I'll comment or whatever, because I like to engage obviously with my people, but
Yeah.
I'm there to give value. I'm there to share. And like, so I, need to protect my space and my energy and go in, share, give massive value and engage on everyone who's like engaged in what I'm sharing. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. So you do 2 Facebook posts in your group every week, correct?
I post every day.
You post every day. Is that scheduled, or do you just get on there and do it yourself?
I usually do it myself. I don't really like using schedulers because I feel like the algorithm kind of screws up with it.
Okay.
But like I have like I repurpose my content.
Mm.
So sometimes I have like a whole my assistant like will help me, just go through content that did really well. And then also I continue creating obviously and have like a separate file for content that I'm creating that I didn't post yet, content that I posted that did really well that I can use again. And then I just go in and post. But I post every single day for sure. Sometimes on the weekends I'll take like a day off, but I don't think it's like a big deal to post every day. I think it's important. But everyone has their own thing. I go live in there 2 to 3 times a week.
Wow. How do you get that content? Like for me, I like kind of schedule what I'm going to say, and then I may change it that day before I post it. But it's hard for me to just sit there and create like tons of stuff that I know I'm
Oh,
going to.
no, I don't do that.
What do you do?
I do not do that. Because that would like screw me up. I'm not that person either. I tried to do that one time. It's like really funny that you bring this up. Last year, I was like, I'm going to get so much more organized with my content. I'm going to plan it out a month ahead. I'm going to do all this stuff. And then I was like, fuck this shit. I am not doing that. I can't force myself to create.
Yeah.
I have to create when I'm inspired for me personally. Like and so like I kind of set this routine up where I will write, like I'll write like at a certain time in the day, whether it's in the morning. I always write in the morning a little bit, but at night I write too, and like I'll just save stuff. Or sometimes spur of the moment, I'll just get this download and I'll just write it. I might post it in that second moment, or I might save it and say, all right, I'm gonna save this for tomorrow. But I don't plan ahead like that. I just have like different notes, and I use like Evernote. And then I just save it in there, or I'll post it right away if I'm like really inspired by it. But for live videos, this is something I do that I think is helpful. For topics and quotes. That's it.
Come back. You got off for a second. So you said
I
something
did?
very helpful.
What was that?
You said something was very helpful for you for.
Something really helpful for me is to have a running list of titles and topics. That's it. So I have this running list. I have another little note that has like a running list of topics and quotes. Like, 3 reasons you're not manifesting, or like really catchy topics and quotes. And so I will use that for inspiration for content or for a video. So I will look at that. I don't always look at it because sometimes I come up with stuff, beforehand, not right before. I like to at least know what I'm doing that week. Okay, this week I'm going to share about these couple things. And then when I share about it, whether it's a post or a video, I'll either write about it or I'll do a video. And sometimes I have like a piece of hair on my lip. I'm like, what is that? Sometimes I'll write like a little bullet point, like 3 little bullet points, and I'll flow for like 30 minutes.
Yeah, and that's how you do your Facebook Lives, right? You don't have like.
Yeah, I don't always do bullet point things, but like sometimes, because like if I'm trying to like stay on topic, because I can flow in a million different directions. So it's helpful to me to have bullet points a lot, especially if I'm like trying to get a specific thing across, and I know that I'm gonna go in a million directions. So like literally like 3 or 4 bullet points and a takeaway or something is what I will write down, and then I'll just glance and like flow.
That's perfect. And I know you said you have your podcast, your Instagram, your Facebook, and probably other platforms. But what's like
I mainly do use those.
What's your main platform? The one that you get the most content in and out of, and people responding to continuously?
Definitely my group.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. But I've been like, my podcast is really growing a lot lately.
Yeah.
So I've been getting a lot of people come into my group that found my podcast. So I'm really amping that up more. I love the podcasting. I'll use some of my Facebook Live videos for podcasts, but I also make separate episodes like just for the podcast, and I have like people on. It's really fun.
How do you make your Facebook Live part of your podcast? 'Cause I know some people that are just great on Facebook Live and they just, they can't do the mic thing. So how do you?
Oh, I just have my microphone set up by me and my laptop, and then I'll record from my phone, but I will just press record on Zoom as well so that it records the audio on my microphone.
Got it. That's perfect. Perfect. Then it has an
Yeah.
audio file. So you just send it.
Yeah.
Makes perfect sense. You're giving me a lot of ideas over here.
Yeah, good. It was really, because at first I was like, I don't know, like I wasn't doing the lives into podcasts, and I was like, why am I like always making extra content for myself? Like why don't I just like do this, because it's not that hard, but I still like to make personal things for the podcast too, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
because it's different. It feels different for me. When I'm doing a Facebook Live, it feels like, I'm talking to so many people. I can feel energy. And so I feel like I'm talking to a lot of people. When I'm doing my podcast, I feel like I'm talking
Whoa.
to
Wait,
it's
stop.
like,
Come back. Come back.
what happened? It's fine on my end. That's so weird.
I think it's on my side for once. I don't know. It rarely happens to me though. But you said that when you're on the Facebook group, you feel like you're talking to so many people and you feel
Yeah.
and when you're on a podcast, you're talking to one. That's what I got.
Yeah. When I'm on when I just do a podcast episode alone, I feel like I'm talking to just one person, one soul sister, and I'm like really speaking to her soul. And so both are great. Like a lot of people get so much out of the Facebook Lives, and they say like, oh, I feel like you're talking to me. And I probably am. It's just a different feel, for both. So it's really cool. I love podcasting. And I love having people on my show because I learn other people too. And it's just really cool to hear other people's stories and what they're offering. So it's a great way to build your audience.
Perfect. All right.
Having a podcast.
I've been thinking about having a podcast for a while, especially after the online summit. I'm thinking if people start being like, I want to hear more, then I'll probably do that. So thank you for that. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I have personally, I have my own little Her Sisterhood book club where literally I get authors in the book club every single month to come in and they're featured and they talk about the book. So now you gave me extra ideas because I've been trying to figure out how I'm going to schedule things and I'm trying to put things up daily and I'm having difficulties with
Yeah, that actually, like that would actually make me feel overwhelmed if I overthought about things like when am I gonna do? Well, it's easier to just have like a more simple structure for me. Like one day I'm going to record 2 podcast episodes.
Mm-hmm.
This week I know I'm gonna do 3 Facebook videos.
Mm.
Like just like instead of like setting intention for the week, but also day by day, instead of like, giving yourself too many things to do or focus on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Like I don't even think about my posts. That I just let flow in my creative writing time.
Perfect. And what's your creative writing time like? Do you have like an hour a day that you do that, or is that just whenever it hits?
Sometimes it hits. I feel like I'm most creative after my workout. So that's usually when I'll create content.
Interesting. All right.
Yeah. In the morning, like it's funny because in the morning and maybe I should change this story actually. In the morning, I'm like, like my morning routine, like let me journal, let me have some food in me, let me meditate. And like, I want to create content, but then at the same time, I'm like, I want to work out. I want to put me first.
Yeah.
I need to put me first. And then I get into this whole, like, I know I'll be more creative after I work out. And so, I'm more creative after I work out. However, I would like to, change up my morning routine a little bit and spark the creativity a little earlier on with some dancing.
Ooh, I like that idea. So you dance it out and then you start writing every once in a while?
Yeah, because that's why working out inspires me more because my body's moving. So, and I dance a lot, and I always talk about like how dancing is like the fastest way to shift your energy and all this stuff. I do that all the time, but maybe if I started doing that in the morning before my workout, it would be like, ooh, all right, let's create some awesome shit before you go to the gym, feel more productive and all this stuff. But like, yeah, the secret to really shifting your energy and creating powerful content and like just feeling more in flow, I should say,
Mm-hmm.
is to be more present and have more fun.
Done. Perfect.
You
Interview.
know what I mean? Because when you're in your head, you're overthinking things. I got to do all this. I got to do all that. Oh, I got to, create this
Mhm.
post and make it sound awesome and this video and you're like all thinking about all this stuff. But when you're in flow and you just have fun, you're like, it just doesn't seem like you're working on anything. It's just part of your day. Oh, I just worked out. I feel amazing. Just got my dancing on. All right, let's go on Facebook Live and like use some of this energy for a purpose.
Yes. All right. One more question for the Facebook Live purposes in general. You said you do 2 to 3 every week. Do you have,
Yeah, I've been doing a little bit more lately, 3 to 4-ish. I'm bumping things up for, that's just for me and for what I'm like about to launch and stuff, but at least 2. If
mm,
someone's just starting their group though, I recommend like go on live as often as you can.
wow. All right. And
I
then,
think it really helps in a group.
yeah. And how about when, like, do you plan it out like, okay, Mondays at 10 a.m. I'm going to show up, or are you just like 3
No,
figure it out?
that's just me. It's so funny that I'm like laughing because every time you ask these questions, it's funny because I like literally the questions you're asking, I used to get in my head about.
Yes,
So like
exactly.
it's so funny because I was just talking to Lauren when I was, because I know she does her little scheduled thing,
Mhm.
and I'm like, I try to do that. I like even announced it to my group before. Hey guys, like Tuesdays and Thursdays at 11. And then I'm just like, no. It doesn't work for me personally.
Yeah.
I like to go on when I like to go on.
Mm-hmm.
That's just me personally. It won't work for everyone else. Some people might be like, oh, you should schedule it so your people know when you're going on. And I don't really see a difference, but that's me. This is how I like to do it. I like the only time I will go on like the same time every day is when I'm doing a challenge or a training. And I tell my people, guys, we're doing this 5-day challenge. I'm going to come on live at 11 o'clock every day. Then I'll do it. And I got it. It's good. And it works. And it's funny because like there's been a few times where I'd be like, okay, maybe I should go on at the same time every day. Let's see how this is. And who knows, maybe I'll change it in the future. But like it just, for me, it's at different times. It's usually like either around 11 or 12
Mm-hmm.
or at 7 or 8 at night. It's one or the other.
So normally right after your workout, or what do you do at night that gets you inspired? That's what I want to know.
I just, why I feel so inspired at night? Because I feel like I'm more relaxed. Like I got a lot done during the day. I got my workout done. I got, client calls done, whatever. I enjoyed my day. And it's kind of like I'm sitting back and just relaxing and I want to go talk to my people. So it doesn't feel like work to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, all right, I'm relaxed now. It's the end of the day. Let's, this has been on my mind. This is what the realizations I had today. And now I want to share it with my people.
Aw, that's
You
so,
know what I mean?
yeah.
Like sometimes I'll have like client calls and earlier on, and then it'll inspire me to share something that came up with my audience because, people have questions or they're going through stuff. Okay, if they are, then other people are too. Maybe I should share this, you know?
Beautiful. Beautiful.
So like for me, I do a lot of things flowy, and at the same time, I would like to, there's part of me that would like to be like a little bit structured in a sense, but
Mhm.
I have to do it in a way that feels aligned to me and that works for me. And the whole like doing the same thing at the same time every day hasn't really felt amazing to me
Yeah.
unless like it's like a challenge kind of thing, you know what I mean? So, but I share all my videos like um, in my group. People see them. You can pin them to the top. I send them in my emails, stuff like that.
Perfect. Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you very much. And I feel like that inspired me personally. I've been trying to organize my time and figure out what I'm going to do, and I honestly hate it. And I'm aware that I hate it. And I'm like, okay, well, I have to see like what else other people are doing. Cause I know, like, again, like you said, like Lauren is all about at 10 a.m. on Tuesdays and 10 a.m. on Thursdays. I'm like, how do you do that? I saw.
Yeah. Well, for some people it works. And here's the thing. Like, I also looked at the flip side. I was like, why does that not feel good to me? Maybe I'm resisting something. Maybe I need to take a look at, what can help me more. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
it's like I still play with things. I'm like, hey, well, maybe it just doesn't feel good to me. It just doesn't feel good to me, and I like to do it my way. Or
Mhm.
maybe like I can get a little more organized with this or something, whatever.
Mhm.
So there's a good flip side to it. I do think that it's important to, or at least organize your time in the sense of like, okay, from 7 to 9 is my morning routine. I'm journaling, get my coffee, and I'm just chilling, doing a meditation, whatever.
Mhm.
And then from like 10 to 12, that's my going to the gym, gonna have some lunch, and then come back. Then from I think it's cool, like important and cool to um at least have an idea of like where your time, you know what I mean, your time block it. A lot of times I'll say by this time I will have this done
Okay.
as
So
well.
you give yourself like little deadlines, but without
Yeah, like
like
yeah, but don't give yourself a bajillion things to do either, because then I've done that a million times. Then you feel overwhelmed and you're like, oh shit, I didn't get anything done, or oh, I don't feel like doing anything because I have so much to do.
yeah.
So, like, think of like 3 things in the morning and 3 things in the evening, work related and personal, that will help you feel productive. So, for me in the morning, I'm like, okay, it will feel like a really productive morning to me if I get my hypnosis or meditation done,
Mhm.
if I take the time to journal and make my bed.
Yeah.
Um,
Practicing that one.
and then I'll feel really productive work wise if I go on a Facebook Live,
Mm.
if I, whatever it is.
Mhm.
So
Amazing.
I asked myself, like, what would make today feel like a productive day?
Mm. Do you feel like you have like themed days? Like I try to have like productive day and then I have like a Star Wars day, and then in between like my Star Wars watching, I'll be motivated and I want to talk about, how to be a rebellion on as an entrepreneur. You mean so?
um, it depends. I don't think you don't need to be productive every single day. You
That's
know
a
what I mean? You don't. And like that was a big lesson that I learned because I would always want to be productive. I still do. It's so funny.
yeah.
But you don't need to be productive every single freaking day. It's just like, well, what will make what's the most valuable use of your time?
Mhm.
Personal and business wise. Like maybe the most valuable use of your time is chilling, watching some, Netflix and just like being,
Yeah.
in your relax mode. So I wouldn't say I have themes, but I definitely do go through binges of watching things on YouTube and like um, just getting inspired from learning and content and like whatever. I actually don't watch TV. I don't even own a TV.
Where do you watch Netflix and stuff when you're binge watching?
On my laptop.
Ah,
Oh, and on Netflix, I don't even really do Netflix that much. It's so funny. People will be like,
no
"This chick is so weird."
way.
I will like when I'm with friends or whatever, but like I'm a YouTube junkie.
Oh, YouTube junkies rule though. I accept.
Yeah,
YouTube
like
red.
I'm a YouTube junkie.
Let's put YouTube red for a second. Okay. No ads.
Yeah.
Definitely. All right. I feel like I got all of my questions answered. If anything, I have one more for you to answer to the girls that are going to be watching this is what is an action step that they can take today that out of everything you give them and to amplify their message and make their gift into gold?
An action step to take today would be to just literally get out of your comfort zone,
Mm,
challenge yourself, and do the things that you're feeling called to do. I know that sounds so much easier said than done, but if you're feeling like you've been holding back, just remind yourself of all of your successes and everything that you've been through that have given you this desire, this calling to do the work that you're meant to do. And so put yourself out there, be bold, be proud, be, fierce, and ask yourself, how can I be different? How can I be of highest service today?
that's
What
beautiful.
can I give my people today? What can I share? What do they need to hear? And just put yourself out there and be consistent with it.
If I may, I'm feeling inspired to say this. I'm going to create a Facebook group for this online summit. So if anyone feels in the mood to practice a Facebook Live, go ahead and get on the Facebook group and then just at Stephanie and I, and we'll watch your Facebook Live or at least give you some comments, and we'll help you and we get to hear your message and what you thought about this. So
Yeah.
rock on. And then the last thing I'm going to mention is I know that you wanted to give a free gift and it's like a freebie sign up. So what's in it and why would they want to get into that? So maybe if you have other message and so on and so forth.
So I've created a lot of free offers in my time. And so I decided to create this whole freebie center where everything is there, you know, because it's just easy to find it all. And it's a lot of stuff. I teach people, like I help people with their mindset and energy. With manifesting and attracting abundance, and also with growing their soul aligned business. So in the freebie center, there's a ton of things there. I have a biz mindset makeover training in there that I did in my group in the past. I have an abundance activation hypnosis, which is so powerful, like ridiculous. I have like all kinds of different tools, money mantras, personal development resources, my magical workbook of woo, a lot of stuff in there, all to help you manifest a life and business that set your soul on fire.
Perfect. So thank you, Stephanie. That was amazing. And I have seen your free gifts and I love them. The Biz Makeover is amazing. So definitely check it out whenever anyone else has an opportunity to, in between, you know, all of our interviews. And thank you. Thank you so much for being here. Honestly,
thank you so much.
Don't tell us the other ones, but this was definitely one of my tops.
Thank you so much.
And thank you, sisters. I'll see you tomorrow.